KineMaster has been one of the best video editing apps for Android and iPhone users for many years now. And in today's video, you will learn everything you need to know to start editing video from beginning to the end, even if it's your first time opening the app. I will also show you how to create a video intro like this one. It's coded from Promise Studios, where we teach how to shoot and edit professional videos with your smartphone. I welcome you to this in-depth tutorial about video editing with KineMaster. This is a full course and I have divided everything into chapters which you can find in the description box below. If you are ready, let's jump into it. Opening the app for the first time, this is what it looks like. Under the settings, then device capability information. This tells you how much your phone is able to handle. So it's good you take note of this so that you don't overuse your phone. This get project, these are templates that have been created already. So you can just download it, change the settings and start using it. So to start editing, we'll click on create new. Before we create our project, we want to make sure that all our files are well organized. So basically what I will do is to make sure that I go through all the videos that I'm working on, preview them, and anyone that I know that I'm not going to use for my edits, I will delete them immediately. This saves me so much time doing editing. So I will create new now. This is where we are going to select our aspect ratio. What this does basically is to determine if your video is going to be on a landscape or on a portrait, or it's going to be a square video. One thing about KineMaster is that once you have decided the aspect ratio you are using, you cannot change it again doing editing. So you have to have that in mind. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to be using the landscape 16:9, which is the YouTube standard. Then I'll give my project a file name. I'll click on next. So this is where we import all our media into the project. With this button over here, I can decide if I want to see only pictures. So it's only picture that is being seen. Over here, I have image assets. If you want to use a plain black background, a white background, or any of these their images here, you can just select any of them and it will automatically be imported into your timeline. I've changed back to video only. That means everything that is here is just video files. My pictures are being hidden. So over here is the asset store. Mind you, you can sort either in ascending order or descending order. So let me quickly look for the video that I want to import. Now this little icon here shows that these files are video file. Now these are images. You can see that the icon on this lower side is different. So I'm going to import them now based on the order I want them to appear in my timeline. But when you are not sure, you can still import them. Then doing your edit, you can now rearrange it. So I'm going to click on all of them one after the other. So I'm done importing all the files that I want. I'm going to close this now. Over here is what we'll call our timeline. This is basically where you will see all the things that you put into your project. The orange color here is our current time indicator. So this is where you see where you are in particular. Over here is the total duration of the whole project. So you can see that I have about 26 minutes, 5 second long video. This button down here, if I click on it, it takes me to the end of a particular clip. If I press and hold it, I have the option of going to the beginning of the whole clip or to the end of the whole clip. I can as well move 1 point backward to the beginning of a previous clip. So that's what this button does. Over here is where I can use to make my timeline to be bigger. So if I want my preview screen to still be showing, I will click on this, it goes off, I click on it and it appears again. So this button here is the play button. If I press it, my file will start playing. So let me collapse my timeline back. On top of this, we have our project setting. If I select this button, what it does is that if I have a music or anything that has audio in my timeline, it doesn't start playing immediately. It fades in gradually. So sometimes that is what you might want. So I'll keep it on. Then the same thing happens at the end of the project. It ends gradually also. So I would like to also keep this one on. Then same thing also for the video. You might want your video to start from black and gradually comes up and also end that same way. So this is where you set that. So I'll leave all of these as they are already. So the next button up here is where you can use to capture a particular frame. So if I click on capture and save, what it does is it's going to save this as a picture that I can use to do my graphics. So that's where you can do that. Also, you can actually capture it and bring it as a clip. While the last one is capture and save as a layer. If I capture it, it's going to put it in a different layer instead of putting the same line with the clip. To delete a particular clip, you see this trash can button here. If I click on it, my file is being deleted. So above that is our undo button and redo button. So this other button here is if I want to go back to my home page. If I click here, I will come back to my home page. Now, mind you, if you select a particular clip, the options that appears are quite different. For instance, now if I select this clip now, over here I can see duplicate and duplicate as a layer. What does that? If I click on duplicate, I have two of this same clip. You can see that there are two. Now, if I want to zoom into my timeline, what I will do is that I will pinch and drag. What does that is zoom in my timeline. You can see that all my files are zooming in. If I want to zoom out also, I will click and drag it, so all my files are being zoomed out. I can as well select a particular clip and duplicate it as a layer. If I do that, what happens is that my clip is being duplicated and is placed on another layer. So over here is our media wheel. If I click on this media, I can select a particular clip and import. So if I select this video now, you notice that it's going to come at this particular place where I am in my timeline. If I select it, and you see that it just comes there, the particular place that you want your clip to be, so that's where you should be in your timeline. If I select it here, you see it's going to be at the beginning of the timeline. Over here is the layer. You still have the option of bringing in under media, whether a picture or a video. Now, the difference between this one and the other one is that if I bring in the same video now, you see that it appears on a different layer altogether. So the same clip, I brought it as a media, it appears on the same line with the other ones. If I bring in as a layer, it's going to be on a different layer altogether. Other thing that you have here is effects, stickers, text, handwriting. All of these we are going to be going to them in details much later. Over here is our audio. Here you can use to bring in your music, your sound effects, and anything that has to do with sound. While here is where you can record your voice over. While over here is where you select your camera. If you want to take a picture and use it for your edit, or you want to take your video and use it for your edit, so that's where you select that. While this other button is where you can use to play. If you click on it, your file will start playing. When you are done with all your edits, you click on this place for you to export. While this button takes you to the asset store where you can download your videos, your images, your music, sound effects, titles, font, and so many other things. So let's start our editing. Now, the first thing I would like to do is to rearrange some of this my clip. I will drag this from here and place it at the end of my clip. Okay, that's where I want it to stay. So let me go back to the beginning of the clip. All right. So the next thing I will do now is to start trimming out the part of the video that I don't want. So I want the video to start playing from here. I'll select this clip, click on my scissors button, and split at play head. With this now, my clip is being divided into two. So I have this one that I don't want and this one that I want. So I can just select this one and click on delete. Now let's see at the end of it. So I want the clip to end somewhere here. So I can select it, click on my scissors button. So instead of splitting it and deleting, I'm going to select this other option. What this does is that it's going to delete everything at the right hand side of this my particular playhead. Now you can see what happens. Everything that is after the playhead has been deleted. So this is just a repetition of that same clip that I did before. So let me just delete that. Now this other drone clip now that's showing this church building. So this is the perfect place I want the shot to start from. I will select this, then I will click on my scissors button and trim to left of player. That means everything on the left hand side of this player will be deleted. You can see that every other thing has gone. So my clip starts at that particular point. Now I'm moving forward a bit. Then I want it to end at this particular point. So I'll select it, scissors, and yeah. So the next clip is this one. Okay, I think the timing of this one is okay. So let's go to our main shot. Mind you, this is a behind the scene photo shoot that I went with my wife sometime last year. She's an amazing photographer. You can check her out on Instagram. I'll keep a link to our page in the description below. Another way I can use to trim it is by clicking on this particular point and drag it to where I want it to be. So this trim that for me. So I'll go forward in time and immediately the camera snaps, I'll do the same thing. So I'll do all of this for the remaining clip and I'll see us immediately I'm done. Alright, now I'm done trimming all the unwanted part of the video. So the next thing we're going to do now is to import some music.
To add music, I'll click on this audio button right here. Then if I scroll down, I'll see folders. In these folders, you can see all the folders on your phone that has a music inside. So if the music you want to add to your theme is a music on your phone, so this is actually where you're going to get it. But for this course, I'm going to be downloading music from the asset store. So if I click on music, I'll click on get music. Now you can see that I have different categories of music that are here. Most of the music are for the premium users, while you can still find some of them that are free that you can use. So I think I found one that I like in this category. Our music is done now. So let me close this. So you can see now I have this fairway here. So let me import it. To make the video to rhyme with the music, I have to have a cut. At each interval, I'm going to switch to another clip. Now for this first clip, that is my intro clip, I would like it to stay a little bit longer so that at least they have a feel of what the scene looks like before it cuts. Because if I say I should cut it at that bit immediately, it will be too sharp that they might not even be able to have seen it before it goes away. So I'm going to cut it here. So I'm going to have another cut here. So I'm going to cut this at this point. So you get the point. So at each beat, where you see that there's a break here, you have a cut. So it makes the video to have a pace that it's actually moving. Let me just quickly cut all the music to that particular beat. Then I'll see us in a jiffy. Now, another thing you might want to do is to mute all the clips that has audio which you don't want in this particular video. Like there are so many background noise in this video, so I'm going to mute it. How do I do that? I'll just select the clip and I'll click on this icon. So the sound is muted. So I'll do that now for other clips. Now I've turned up the volume for all the clips. So you can see this little symbol underneath it. That shows that there's no more audio. So now I can continue cutting the videos to match with the music.
I have successfully trimmed all the video to the pace of my music. I've been doing this for so many years, so I'm much more comfortable doing it. If you're just starting out and you just try this for the first time, you might be asking yourself, why is it not working? Don't get frustrated. Don't relent. Just like every other thing in life, you have to practice it so many times before you get it right. So it's something that I will advise you keep doing it. Even from your selection of music, you might select a particular music and as you're editing, you find out that this music is actually not working. Just delete it, go back again and download another one. You might have to do this so many times before you start getting the music that will actually work perfectly. I didn't start out the first time and I got it right. It's something I've done so many trials and error. I've done it right, I've done it wrong before I am now comfortable with it. So if you're just starting out also, don't get disappointed, don't get frustrated, just keep practicing it. The next thing we're going to do now is to edit our audio so that it doesn't overshadow our voice. For instance, if I play this now, listen to what it sounds like. You can see that the music is actually too loud that I can't even hear myself. So what do? We have to reduce the volume of the music immediately I start speaking so that the volume of the music does not distract the audience from hearing what I'm saying. So how do we do that? There are so many ways of doing it, but we are going to go through them one after the other. So I'll select the music. I'll come to this voice envelope. So what this does is that it creates keyframe. Keyframe is actually a way that you can use to adjust a particular part of the music and it doesn't affect the other part that you did not select. So what I'm going to do now is that I'll come to this part now where I'm about to start talking and I'll add a keyframe there. I'll go in time a bit and somewhere here add another keyframe. So this is when I start talking. Then I go to where I'm done talking and it's about going out. So somewhere here I'll add another keyframe. Then I'll place my last keyframe immediately I'm done talking. So this point where I'm still talking, I'm going to reduce the volume. So for you to be sure that you're actually at a particular keyframe, you see that this particular one is showing minus. If I'm out of it, you see that it's gray. I can't select it. Immediately I'm on it, I can select. That means I'm at that particular keyframe. So I'll reduce the volume here. So let's go to like 30%. I think that should be okay. So we'll come to the second keyframe. I'm there now. I'm reducing this also to like 30%. So I'm okay there now. Let's listen to it and see what it sounds like.
In this video, you learn everything you need to know to start editing.
Now you can see a lot of difference. Now the volume is reduced now. It's not sounding as it was before. Then immediately I'm done talking, let's hear what happens.
KineMaster.
It goes up back. So that's actually one way of doing it. Now let me show us another way of doing it. I will select the music, then I will select this docking. Now notice the symbol of this docking. So you see that my music is gray now. I'll select the video, come to this volume button, and you can see the symbol for the docking that I showed you earlier. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to reduce this volume. Let's reduce it by 70%.
Thank you very much for watching this video to the end.
So that's actually another way of reducing the volume. So the next thing we're going to see now is how to change your voice, add equalizer and reverb to your voice. So let's quickly do that. I'll select the clip, then scroll down. I'll see voice changer. If you click on this voice changer, all of these are different voices that you can use. Let's try this chipmunk.
Thank you very much for watching this video to the end. Thank you very much for watching this video to the end. And I'll see you later.
So you can just play around with them and see the one that suits what you're actually looking for. Now to apply an equalizer, you can just come to this EQ, and there are so many equalizers. If you want your voice to sound as if it's a radio station that is talking, you select out AM radio, you have bass booster, and so many other ones here. Let's just try this AM radio and see what it sounds like.
Thank you very much for watching this video to the end. Thank you very much for watching this video to the end.
So you can just play around with them and use any of them that you prefer. So let's see, the last effect is this reverb. Now you can add reverb to it. If you want your voice to sound as if you are in a bedroom, or you are in a cathedral, you are a cave, in any of these places, you can just select any of them and it applies that effect to your voice. Let's try this cathedral.
Thank you very much for watching this video to the end, and I will see you in the next one.
So all of these are different effects that you can actually use for your voice. You can play around with them. Anyone that is very good for you, you use it. But make sure that you don't use the one that will make the audience to get distracted or they don't longer hear what you are saying. The next thing we want to do now is to add transitions to our video. Now to add a transition is very easy. Just click on this plus button that is in between each of your clip. These are different transitions that are available for you. But mind you, so many of these transitions are actually distracting. You can actually use it for some type of edit, but not every type. So you need to be careful of the particular one you are using for your edit. Now these ones under this classic are the ones that are used by professional editors, and those are the ones that we are also used to seeing. So these are the ones that is always advisable you use most of the time. You can see how subtle they are. They're actually not creating too much attention, and at the same time they are there. But the other ones are also something you can actually play around with and see how they look like, and see if it's something that you might want to be using. Now to get more transition, you can just click on this asset store and you have other ones that you can download and use for your projects. It's not a must that you must add it to all of your clips. So you need to be careful of how you use them also in your work, so that your work doesn't end up looking amateur. Now this travel and activity, let's see what it looks like now. Now this can be used to depict somebody that traveled from one country to another, or from one region to the other. So if you have this transition in your video, it might just pass the message of, okay, this person has traveled from here to here. So that's some instances where some of these transition works. So you can see that it's not a common transition, but at the same time, it has a way of conveying our message sometimes. Now, take note that this video started playing from black. That was because in the settings here, I actually said the video should fade in. If I increase the duration, it's going to see that it's going to fade in more. And the same thing will happen if I increase this one, it will happen at the end. The same thing with the audio. If I increase how many seconds I want the audio to fade in, you are going to see the effect. Now, let's go back. It takes more time for it to come up. So you can actually come here to make some adjustments to that if you are not comfortable with the duration. But I think I'm okay with the 2 seconds that the video was, and the audio I think is okay at this level. Now, if you want to also fade in your audio manually, you can use this voice envelope that we used earlier. You can just add a keyframe to somewhere here, add a keyframe here, and at the beginning also add another keyframe and reduce the volume. So if that's what you want, that's actually how to go about it. All of these are still called transition in video editing. So what we are going to do now is to bring in some B-rolls. B-rolls are actually videos or pictures that are used to explain what is happening in your video the more. So just for instance now, as she snapped the picture, I can go and bring the edited picture from this scene as a B-roll and add to this so that people see what the camera was actually saying. So if I'm actually talking about a product, I can now show a picture of that product I was talking about. So those are B-rolls. Those are things that you add to the main clip just to explain your point the more. So we usually add them to another layer of the video. You don't put it in the same layer with the video so that it doesn't alter your video. So for instance, in this case now, I'm going to go and bring the pictures now. I'm bringing it as a layer because I want it to stand alone, not it to be sharing the same line with the other one that I had before. Now, it comes in as a small picture which I can scale up if I want. I can scale it up to this S10. So I can go on and bring in so many other ones. So I'll quickly bring in some other ones and add to it now. Now, there are so many effects we can do to an overlay like this, whether be it a picture or a video. For instance, we can decide to give it an animation in. That means how does it come in? Let me use something very extreme so you can see it very well. So you can see that. That means that is going to come in. Then how long do I want that to happen? If I increase it, it's going to take more time. Okay, this is faster. Why this is slower? So let's see this other one. Okay. So all these effects are there. If you want to add it to it to spice it up a bit. So let's play it now and see how it looks. So you can see it spices it up a bit. So be careful and be creative with it at the same time. You can also choose what happens, how it leaves. So I can say fade out. So at the end of it just fades out. You can rotate it, do so many other things to it. You might want to probably reduce the opacity. So you can play around with all of this. Now we are going to see how to blur out people's faces or any other element that you don't want to show in your scene. For instance now, if this banner here, if I don't want it to appear, maybe for some copyright issues or what, I don't want it to appear. If you come to layers, come to effects, you see basic effects, and you have either Gaussian blur or mosaic blur. Now let me reduce the size. Okay, whatever was there is no longer being seen by anybody. You can as well work with the reduce the opacity of that effect. Now if I come to layers, come to stickers, you can see some of these funny faces and emojis that you can actually add to your clip. Let me use them for instance now. If this is another way that you can actually cover somebody's face or something. So that's actually how to add all of those things to it. There are so many other things there that you can just play around with. To add a text or a title to our video, I'll just click on layer, then click on text. Then I'll type what I want to write there and click on OK. So the write-up appears there. So let's quickly edit it. If I click here, I can select different font type. Okay, let me use this one. So this is what it looks like. You can change the color from here. So if you scroll down, you'll be able to see other things you can add. You can add an outline to this. For instance, a black outline. You can see what it looks like already. Now, your text, you can actually make it bigger or make it smaller. You can move it to any part of the screen that you want it to be, depending on what you're actually using it for. So you can actually choose animation in, just as we did for other layers. Now let's quickly see how you can add this handwriting. If you want to make an highlight of a particular place in the video, let's say for instance I want to highlight this now, I can just use that highlight and draw around it. You can animate it as well. See, animate in, draw by stroke. So it draws it as you are doing it, and let's see what it looks like. To do color correction or color grading in KineMaster, what you do, select the clip you want to edit and you scroll down to color filter. Now there are so many presets here that are just like Instagram filters, where you can check if any of them suits what you are looking for. If you can find any of them that matches the story you're about to tell, you can actually use it. Then from here, you can actually reduce the opacity of that effect. That's how much of it applies to it. So let's say for instance, this one matches what the look I am going for this video. I can just probably reduce the opacity a bit and leave it. Now, if you still select the clip, come to adjustment. Now, these are different things that you can adjust. So if you're not sure what you're doing, what you can do is to reduce it to the lowest or increase it to the highest. With that, now that gives you an idea of what is going to work. So I'm going to just do a few adjustments to this. So when applying this effect, you need to be a little bit careful of how much of it you apply, because sometimes they might have negative effects on your video. So you can see what this is looking like. So all of these are available, which you can just play around with and see how it's going to improve your video. Now, once I'm done with my adjustment, if all of these clips were shot in the same place under the same condition, I can just do apply all. Let's say for instance, this was a talking head video where I was just talking to the camera. I'm in a particular place, and all of these things were just probably where I cut in between each of them. I can just do apply all. These settings applies to everything and all of them will look alike. But in this case now, I have so many clips from different locations, different scenes. If I apply all, they will not have the same look. So I have to manually adjust this thing for each of the clips. Like I said, all of these things now, you have to just practice it. The more you do it, the better understanding you have of what they do. To create the intro I showed us in the beginning, just come here and click on Get Project. Scroll down to Intro. I will select this Creator Introduction. Then I'll click on Download. So the video is downloaded now. So I'll go back. You can see I have it on my project, which I can just click on. So I just click on Download All. So our files are finished downloading and is important to the timeline. So what I'll do is to start changing all of these things and replace it with mine. For instance, this picture, I'll just click on it and click on Replace. Then look for my own picture from my device and use. You can use either a picture or a video to replace it. So to change the write-up, just click on the write-up and click on Edit. I want to add shadow to this. Now, to reduce the space in between this video editing and tutorial, I'll just click on the text, come to text options. Then I can now reduce the line in between them. Now, to add it to my project, what I will do is to export it first. So our video is being saved now. So let me go back to my previous project. So if I want to bring in that intro now, I'll click on Media. Look at it over here. Select. So that's actually how to create an intro and use it in your project. Now we are done with everything. What we are going to do now is to export. When you are exporting, try to leave it at the highest quality that you can get. Reducing this will actually reduce your file size, but at the same time it's actually reducing your quality also. So most of the time I always like to leave it at the highest. Then my frame rate, I like leaving it at 25 fps. I'll leave my resolution at full HD, then click on save video. We have successfully come to the end of this video editing tutorial with KineMaster. As you can see, there are so many areas of this app that we cannot cover in a single video. I have an advanced video editing with KineMaster coming up soon, so you will see the link to it in the description, or it will be one of the videos on your screen. If you have learned something from this video, I want you to tell me in the comment section below. Like this video, share it, and subscribe to this channel. I will see you in my next video.